12 rounds of games to go in the J1 season. 12 points currently separating leaders Vissel Kobe from today's host Kawasaki Frontale, the champions in 4 of the last 6 years, but down in 7th place this time around, when it's the club from Kobe who are mounting a title challenge, hoping to be crowned champions for the first time in their history. But the pressure is building. Their lead at the top over the holders Yokohama F. Marinos is now down to goal difference going into today, and they come into this one off the back of a surprise 2-0 defeat at Yokohama FC last weekend, when Frontale were also beaten 4-3 here at home by Gamba Osaka. Both look to bounce back straight away at Todoroki today. Match with plenty riding on it for both of these two teams, that is for sure, as they get set to enter the atmospheric Todoroki. Expectancy spilling from the stands from both sets of supporters. They felt a little hard done by in losing 6 days ago. Frontale had been so strong defensively here at home until the concession of those 4 goals against Gamba Osaka. They'd only let in 6 in their first 9 home league matches of this J1 season. And it certainly was something of a shock to the system for Vissel Kobe to be beaten at Yokohama, despite dominating possession in that game against the side struggling at the bottom of the table. It ended what had been a 7-game unbeaten run for them in all competitions. They won 3 on the bounce on their travels prior to that, and are immediately looking to pick up another victory away from home today. One of the most eagerly anticipated meetings of the J1 weekend. The stage in Kawasaki is almost set. Home fans used to hitting the heights, standards that their side have slipped below somewhat this season, but still clearly capable of rising to the big occasion. It is only 3 weeks since these clubs last met, sharing a 2-2 draw in Kobe in a game rearranged from the start of June because of a typhoon. Vissel came back from 2-0 behind that day to rescue an important point, but really a win is required by both as they rapidly reconvene in Kawasaki tonight. It was a result that extended Frontale's unbeaten run against Vissel Kobe to 8 matches now in all competitions. They had won the previous 3, but they've struggled for consistency this season and therefore not hit the heights expected of them in recent years. Instead, it is the visitors in the midst of a title challenge, and this game could have a major bearing on their prospects as they chase the J1 Championship for what would be the first time in their history. All the sights and sounds ahead of kickoff. Really good spirit between these clubs as well in the build-up to the game, as there has been amongst the supporters in the stands, but so much to play for on the field. 12 points separating them. Frontale still nowhere near really where they want and expect to be. They've never quite recovered from such a sluggish start to the season, in contrast to Vissel Kobe, who were the only club to win their first 3 games of the season and have remained amongst the pace setters ever since. A dramatic turnaround from last season when they finished only 4 points clear of the bottom 3. Well, there are 4 changes to the Kawasaki Frontale side, beaten here by Gamba Osaka 6 days ago. Kazuya Yamamura makes a first start since May at centre-back, replacing Kota Takai. Tatsuki Seko comes into midfield. He takes over from Zhao Schmidt, as he did an hour into last week's game with Gamba. Up front, there are starts for Shin Yamada, and for the first time for the club in J1 for Yusuke Segawa, their most used sub this season. Marcinho reverts to the bench, having made his comeback from a hamstring injury last time out. But Leandro Damião misses out tonight. Yuichi Nishimura is the referee, a vastly experienced J-League official, having debuted in this division back in 1999. He was the fourth official at the 2010 World Cup final. It's his 13th J1 game of this season. Junpei Ida has the VAR responsibilities in the booth tonight. Just the two changes for Vissel Kobe from their surprise defeat at Yokohama FC last week. Gotoku Sakai returns at right back in place of Nanase Ino, whilst Yoyo Yuraki drops to the bench. Jean-Patrick coming back into attack for only his third league start of the season. He completes the front three alongside key players Yoshinori Muto and Yuya Osako, who with 16 J1 goals so far this season is the division's top scorer. Second season in charge for Toru Oniki. He won the title in 4 of his first 5. Can Takayuki Yoshida win the title in what is now his third spell as Vissel Kobe's manager? Saved them from relegation when stepping in last season and has overseen a dramatic turnaround in the current campaign. It was their 4th different manager of last year. Set for the start then in Kawasaki. It is the serial winners who've slipped off the pace somewhat this season against the current league leaders aiming for a maiden J1 title. Kawasaki Frontale against Vissel Kobe underway at Todoroki, one of the standout fixtures of the J-League weekend. Vissel Kobe in there. Change colours in the white immediately on the attack here. There was just a moment's hesitation in the Frontale defence, expecting offside. Flag does go up in the end. Almost a dramatic opening to the contest as the visitors look to try and impose themselves early on. It's all change up top for Frontale today. Shin Yamada starting for only the 6th time this season, and Segawa alongside him for the first time this season, having scored 5 times off the bench from where he's made his first 16 league appearances for the club since his signing from Shonan Bellmare. Contrast, Akihiro Yenike there has begun every league game this season. The 37-year-old remains a mainstay in this Frontale attack. To bounce back from those defeats last weekend. Certainly close things up again at the top of the table. Vissel Kobe ahead of Yokohama F. Marinos, now only on goal difference. They're on the attack here. Osako didn't really get hold of that, but he is the 4-man in front of goal, as he has been all season. 16 goals. The J1 leading scorer coming into tonight. Surprise omission from Japan's squad at the last World Cup. He has been to 2 World Cups with his country, and at the age of 33 is as important as ever for his club side. Former Werder Bremen player leading the attack. The fitness of he and Muto likely to be key if Vissel Kobe are to maintain this title challenge. They do look to be reliant on those 2 in attack. Hatsuse is another who started every game. They have 4 J1 ever presents in the starting lineup. Left back will take the corner from the opposing side, and it's fairly comfortably cleared away. Chief creative threat in the team, though, from fullback Hatsuse. Higuchi coming short to pick up possession. He's another that started every game for them in this division. Muto and Maikawa, the goalkeeper, completing the set. They have, for the most part, benefited from consistency of selection this season. Not too many injury issues, unlike Kawasaki Frontale, who've certainly suffered their share. Daniel missing again, having only just come back from a second injury of the season. Kobayashi's also on the comeback trail. He's amongst the subs, as is Marcinho, all of whom really, if fully fit, would be first choice in this attack, he suspects. Equally, they've had issues at the back, but they do have Yamamura fit again, starting tonight for the first time since May, having briefly come off the bench a couple of games ago. Secco in midfield. There's no one stepping in for Zhao Schmidt today. Plenty in the penalty area, but it's missed out everybody in the middle. Well, they proved at Frontale that they are capable of rising to the big occasion when they beat the champions, Yokohama F. Marinos, at Nissan Stadium. I was going to say just before the summer break, but there wasn't really much of a break for Frontale. Their game with Kobe was rearranged for the 22nd of July during that break, having been postponed because of the typhoon in early June. As they're well acquainted with each other, these two coming into today. They're taking the touch. Secco to work it well, and there was space for the shot, which was saved by Maikawa. Again, I don't think it would have counted. Just coming back from the offside position when the pass was played. Dorizato it was. The furthest forward actually from full-back, but a little too far forward on that occasion. Straight start for him in J1, been a regular in that role this season, one of the club vice-captains. They do have Tashi Banada back in the starting lineup. He's played his way back into the team in the last few weeks. He's given the captain's armband at the start of the season by Toru Aniki, but then lost his place a few months into the campaign. In addition to that rearranged game in Kobe, Frontale also played a high-profile friendly against the Bundesliga champions Bayern the following weekend. We're then in Emperor's Cup action in reaching the quarter-finals of that competition. Both these clubs actually have got as far as the last eight, so there hasn't really been a summer break at all for Frontale. Again, thwarted by the flag here. Goal to nil by Bayern in that friendly. They did mix up the minutes though. Time on the pitch for the majority of the squad. Followed it up by beating Kochi United by a goal to nil in the fourth round of the Emperor's Cup. Sasaki getting the winning goal late on to set up a meeting with Albirex Nagata at the end of the month in the quarter-finals. Only chance of silverware, it would seem, this season. And last year was the first year without silverware for Kawasaki Frontale since 2016. Higuchi working it wider. And this was by Tashi Banada. Made sure he got decent distance on that. Never quite got involved in the title race this term, Frontale, unusually. Missed out to F. Marinos last season, only on the final day. They took the race to the wire, finished just 2 points adrift. It's Yasuda's team that have been setting the pace for much of the current campaign. 12 games to go, including this one. The pressure is really on. You wouldn't have seen that setback on Sunday against Yokohama coming. And they will argue on the balance of play. It wasn't really merited, but they didn't take their chances, and the struggling side did. Patrick here, trying to get to that. Afforded a rare opportunity in the starting lineup. He's been used primarily off the bench this season, since signing from Cerezo Osaka. It's his second year playing in this league. Referred to Yoroki today. He's been struggling for a little bit of form maybe recently. So Yoshida opting to make the change in attack. Suse. Touch for Maikawa in goal. Playing for his home city side. Daya Maikawa, another that started every game this season. This is promising for them. This is Muto. He's had a super season as well. He's got 3 in the penalty area if he can pick out anybody. Referee immediately waves away any potential appeals as he went down. Nicked it away initially from Omanami. He did have a hold of his shirt there. That contact coming outside the area before Muto fell inside the box, but nothing doing either way from referee Nishimura. Muto, the J1 Player of the Month in June, has 8 goals this season. Mainz and Newcastle player, back after a career in Europe, and now in search of silverware back home again. Seko did well, comes away with it. Finding little pockets of space here, not quite the final ball. Still the threat, Tasha Banada to Tatsuki Seko. Now Wakazaka. This is Yamane. A bit of space up the other end, maybe. Osako playing the pass and asking Muto to chase it, asking a lot of him, but he will get there. Well, Yoshinori Muto, support arriving in a packed penalty area. The header when it came was from Sasaki, and comfortably dealt with by Jung in goal. That's how quickly they can get numbers forward in support of those sort of attacks, though. Slotting into their style, Vissel Kobe. 60% of the ball as the away team. That possession statistic meant little last week. The defeat at Yokohama. Conceding to a goal midway through each half of the game. They were 4-1 winners at the Holders, Fanfare Kofu in the Emperor's Cup, to reach the quarter-finals themselves. Followed the 2-2 home draw with Frontale, from which they came back from 2 behind, Osako scoring twice in the space of 3 minutes either side of the hour. It's a most recent meeting, still very fresh in the memory. Ended a run of 3 straight defeats for Vissel Kobe in this fixture. Frontale did the double over them last season. Tended to have their number more latterly in J1. And Suse with the throw. 5th season at the club now, since he made the move from Gambor Osaka. From the Japanese youth international. It has been called up at senior level without yet winning a first international cap. Still just touching above 30 degrees Celsius out there. This evening kick-off in Kawasaki. Jose again, goes back to Maikawa. There's Tula at centre-back, the Brazilian. He's become important recently after missing out at the start of the season. Jean-Patrick keeps it in. Sasaki under pressure. Well, they've been excellent at both ends of the pitch. Vissel Kobe this season, they are the second top scorers in the division. 42 goals, just 2 behind F. Marinos coming into tonight. And they have the second best defensive record in J1 as well. 19 goals conceded. Only Uro at Reds have let in less. Only 2 less at that. Task for Toru Aniki's team. Too much in it in the early exchanges. See the effects of the heat and the humidity already, though. Will be affected tonight. Followed by Omanami. Segawa, who's the target. It does a little belatedly reach him, and he's done really well here to make something of it. Blocked behind almost as soon as he struck it. Wasn't giving this one up. Yusuke Segawa trying to make the most of a belated opportunity in the starting 11. Very much an impact player off the bench so far this season. Corner kick to come, a quarter of an hour into the contest. Goalkeeper made sure he was always the favourite to get to that one. Turned away from trouble by Maikawa. Only let in 9 goals away from home all season in this league. It's just 1 more than Urawa Reds. Okay, useful angle there to whip the cross in. Flick on nightfall for Osako, trying to help it on to Jean-Patrick. Nearly, but not quite. Cross covering to clear was Omanami, but does rather more than that, turns defence into attack. Seko now trying to pick the pass for Segawa. This comes back for Wakazaka. But not quite has been the story really at both ends so far. Might open up here for Vissel Kobe. Osako working it wider for Sasaki. So they have had time to get players back behind the ball again. That's Suse. Yamaguchi slowing it down a little bit, prioritising possession, trying to control the tempo of the game. Those in white. Suse swings it forward. Flag up on the far side as Yamane and Sasaki get back to their feet again. We can look at how close this was. Dangerous ball into the box, but it was well defended. More than capable of providing the service from that part of the pitch. Yeager, the only 2 Frontale players to start every league game this season. hold it up. He required a little bit of assistance, and now the free kick has been conceded. Tashi Banada went down. That's why he went down. Foot just came across from Osako. Fine margins at the moment, though. Vissel Kobe only losing 2 of their last 13 league matches, which is why that setback last Sunday was such a surprise. It was also the first time all season that they'd failed to score away from home. They've been on target on their travels in 11 successive away league matches, dating back to September, prior to last weekend. Determined to find their thread again today. Some promising early signs in that respect. Patrick back down the line to Hatsuse. The signs haven't yet translated into clear-cut opportunities in front of goal in these first 20 minutes. Onus for now really is on Frontale as the home team. Try and up the tempo. Utilise this incredible support that they get here. They were the top home scorers last season in the division. They got 5 more in front of their own fans actually than F. Marinos, who took the title. They had found their form at home prior to the loss against Gamba Osaka. Last time out, 1-6 on the bounce here. Were unbeaten in 8 going into last week's game. In contrast to the start of the season, didn't win any of their first 6 at home. From the free kick, Wakazaka going down. He's actually scored in his last 2 league matches. There's Yasuda Wakazaka. Equalizer against Gamba Osaka at 1-1 in that 4-3 defeat, as it turned out to be, and he also opened the scoring at Vissel Kobe. These sides met 3 weeks ago. Yenica, he's drifted in field. Morizato will reach it and keep it in play. Wakazaka. Tashi Banada to Miki Yamane. Those in white know their jobs, though, don't they? Defensively, really well organised, disciplined without the ball. Tashi Banada. It's quite a dramatic loss of form earlier in the season, but as mentioned, he's worked his way back into Toru Aniki's starting lineup more latterly. Of Zhao Schmidt today will be even more important, maybe, in midfield. Look at the space here for Hatsuse to stride into, and he was invited really to keep on going and tempted into the shot, which wasn't threatening when it came. It's just the 1 goal this season. Quite the accuracy, despite the fact there was a bit of power behind that one. Did score against Shonan Bellmare in the 2-0 victory at the end of April. They have been relatively restricted to efforts like that at this stage, as the first half reaches its midway point and the drinks break. Very necessary in the temperatures and the conditions that I was talking about tonight. So a couple of shots apiece. Vissel Kobe have continued to edge the possession. Has dipped a little bit since the early stages, but no more than that. And very little, really, between the 2 teams. Vissel Kobe will take confidence from that as they try and provide themselves with a platform against historically, certainly recently, one of the league's most successful sides. Frontale did have to be patient before taking their first title, something that Vissel Kobe are attempting to achieve this year. But once they won it in 2017, they went on to win 4 in 5. And what they had done so well, really, was continue to rebuild after each title success when seeing star players depart. That hasn't quite been the case this time around. They struggled a little more. Building requirements maybe weren't quite adhered to back in the off-season. Plenty of names have come through at Frontale and gone on to have excellent careers elsewhere. Mitoma, most recently, I guess, is one of the highest profile examples, now at Brighton in the Premier League. A pretty prolific youth policy as well in bringing through their own, developing players out of university as well. There was a setback last season to go without silverware. Only really the Empress Cup was a possibility to put a trophy on the table this year. Clearance here is by Yuki Honda. So they're going a little bit longer. Both teams struggling really to create too much of note in the opening quarter. Not a surprise at this stage that to an extent they have cancelled each other out somewhat. That'll be a free kick. Fairly blatant one, this. There was a bit going on earlier. A tussle between Yamada and Honda. That they have really high hopes for, Shin Yamada. I mentioned that route out of university. And, he signed from Toin University for this season on a 2-year contract. Recently forced his way more regularly into the starting lineup. Of which potential. He's won the free kick. Can Frontale provide from it? It'll be Wakazaka to take it. Not short of targets, is he, to aim at, but he's put too much on it. It's harmlessly behind. In the context of what we've seen so far, they can ill afford to squander opportunities such as that. In a manner such as that. Susi driving it long, it will come all the way through for Jung Seung Ryong, the vastly experienced South Korean in goal, who seems to have reclaimed his starting spot, which he'd lost earlier in the season. It's the 4th straight start for him now in all competitions. Flag up against Yenaga. Jung does seem to have reclaimed that role ahead of Kami Fukumoto. He'd taken his place in the middle part of the season. But neither goalkeeper really at either end has been significantly tested so far today. Vissel Kobe trying to change that. Here's Susi in space. Time to assess his options, try and pick the pass. Come for Jean-Patrick. Back defending, actually kept it in play, but in doing so presented the ball back to the Brazilian, and Jean-Patrick has pulled it just behind Osako, who was his target in the middle. 5 goals he got in his first season in J1 with Cerezo Osaka last season. A couple in the league, a couple more in the cups for Vissel Kobe this season. You certainly see today as an opportunity to stake a claim for a more regular starting spot in the top flight. Here he is again, and he's away from Yamane. Options either side. Finds Sasaki. He's trying to deliver low in towards Yuya Osaka, and it was cut out by Omanami. Jean-Patrick does luck up for this. He's keen to make the most of the opportunity he's been afforded by Coach Yoshida. Spectacular goals amongst those 5 that he managed last season for Cerezo. That is certainly capable of getting fans off their seats. He's helped win the corner kick here, which Hatsusi is going to take. It's a deeper delivery from him. Jean-Patrick was in there actually as the ball bounced around. It will come back for Hatsusi to try again, to sling it in threateningly. Yamaguchi letting it go for the throw. We know the quality of delivery that Hatsuse is capable of providing. We've seen it on a couple of occasions already tonight. If ultimately it's gone unrewarded, they'll try again here. Just too high from Osaka. Acknowledges the intent to find him. Just found that little bit of space to reach it first. Couldn't quite control the header though. Those 2 goals that he got against Frontale, his last in the league. He did score as a substitute in the Emperor's Cup at Vissel Kobe. 1 goal more than Anderson Lopez of F. Marinos at the top of the J1 scoring standings coming into today. F. Marinos just about to get underway against Gamba Osaka. Final game of the night in J1. Osaka will chase after this, but just enough of a head start from Yamamura, who got there first. It's important depth at centre-back, which is an area that they've struggled in through injury all season. Jessiel still out with a knee problem, having missed much of last season with a similar issue as well. Mora himself has spent a lot of the season on the sidelines. Came on for the last minute of the victory against Sanfrecce in June. It's the first start since the middle of May. The heart of the defence today for the 2-time title winner. Morizato. This is Tashi Banada. Falls back into his own territory though. And they'll go all the way back here to Jung in goal. He brought down by Shin Yamada. That's created a little bit of space for the home side. Seko. Had the quality in the final ball yet. That skips away from Segawa. Something of the story so far. Defended well this season as a unit, really. Mid-block has tended to be preferred by Takayuki Yoshida, so Aniki knows what to expect tonight. Tactical tussle is a fascinating one. Nobody yet really has managed to get the upper hand in it. They are certainly capable now and often do press a lot higher, Vissel Kobe, since the departure of Andres Iniesta, since they moved away from the star names policy, really. It's much more of a collective effort this term. Defensively, they will need to remain strong collectively here, with Frontale pressing and probing. And plenty forward in support of the attack, and first to react was Segawa. Quickly back to his feet and back on the ball. Morizato, infield, To Seko, trying to turn. Honda able to clear. Seko the out ball, and he's done brilliantly. First to reach it, and then to find Jean-Patrick, bearing down on goal, and takes the tumble. And what's the referee going to do here? Pointing to the spot. Oh, big call. All started with them under pressure in their own penalty area, and look at how well Osako did to make himself available, to make sure he got to the ball, and then to feed it through to Jean-Patrick. Omanami was the defender. Where was the initial contact here? Right on the edge of the box, I think. As he then took a tumble inside the area. I think he was maybe looking for the opportunity to go down. Omanami was desperate not to commit. The referee had a good view of it. Has produced the yellow card for Omanami at the end of it. That will spell a suspension. More immediate concerns to come for the centre-back in his side. Both sets of players taking the opportunity to get some more water on board during this little break, whilst the decision is checked, because it did look close to being outside the area. Junpei Ida is the video assistant referee. This is his first major call of the evening. Well inside when he fell, but have a look at this. That's the initial little hand on the back, and I'm not sure there was much that followed, really, from Omanami. Found himself in an awkward position, of course. Chasing down Jean-Patrick. This is taking a little while to sort out. Wouldn't be a huge surprise if it was overturned. There has to be a clear margin to decide that the referee's initial call was the wrong one. He's been waiting for word, and it's going to be a free kick outside the area, no penalty. And no yellow card either by the looks of things. It's a red. So no penalty, but because of that, Omanami sees red. That double jeopardy no longer comes into play, which is why he was spared the sending off in the first place. But looking at the replays, it would appear harsh. It was the difficult position that he found himself in. It was always going to be awkward for Omanami from there, and it's going to be awkward now for Toru Aniki and his team, who have to reshuffle as a result of the red. Video review bringing mixed fortunes, I think it's safe to say. Immediate activity on the touchline as Oniki sets about coming up with a plan B here, because Omanami's evening is over. Sent off for denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. Tough on this, really, isn't it, for Oniki and for Frontale? Would they have preferred the full complement of players for the rest of the game and face the penalty? They've seen this spot kick overturned, but have to go the rest of the evening with 10. That's the situation that they find themselves in. They are rapidly hurrying a change here to bring on another defender. Kota Takai, who did start the last game, is going to come on, and it looks like it's going to be in place of Tashi Banada. He's handing over the captain's armband, and he is the player being sacrificed in this substitution. Which is another interesting call to take off the captain. Takai comes on. First appearance actually as a substitute this season. He has started 10 times. He's still only 18. He went to the Under-20 World Cup in Argentina with Japan earlier in the year. Signed a new 3-year contract in February at the start of his second senior season. He will slot in at centre-back after the red card for Omanami. Can Vissel Kobe apply further punishment? Denied the penalty, but still a very presentable sight of goal for them here from the free kick. He will certainly feel hard done by. He was doing his best, I think, not to commit to the challenge. Perilous position that he found himself in has cost him. And it cost his team even further from the free kick. Osako fancies it. Susi involved in the conversation as well. Keppel in front of the wall to try and make this a bit more difficult for Jung in goal. It's going to be Osako. Oh, it's perfect! Brilliant free kick. And Vissel Kobe with a huge goal. The leaders in front as they go in search of a historic first title. And it's goal number 17 of the J1 season for the league's leading scorer. Heading towards half-time. This tale has taken a significant twist. Frontale down to 10, and now a goal behind as well from the free kick that followed. The penalty decision was overturned, but as far as Vissel Kobe are concerned, it matters not. Whipped it in over that wall, and Jung, despite getting a hand to it, couldn't keep it out, couldn't get across in time. Some season that Yuya Osako is having, that is another hugely impressive chapter that he's just scripted. And will that remain the case for Vissel Kobe in the context of this contest as well? This would be, stress would at this stage, such a valuable victory if they could go on and win it. And they'll certainly fancy doing so now, with the numerical advantage as well as the opening goal. Osako, who scored twice against Frontale 3 weeks ago, as they came from 2 behind, has made the breakthrough this time. That has rather flattened the mood inside Todoroki. Just left his foot in, which is why the free kick was conceded. Sato can't quite force a way through. Forward from fullback. Really has assumed centre stage this season. And again tonight, Yuya Osako piling on the problems for Toru Aniki. Segawa, Yamada trying to help it on towards Yenaga. Entirely in search of a response. There will be a bit of time yet in this first half because of the lengthy stoppage required for the video review, which ultimately has had such an impact on the game. Sweetly struck free kick it was from Osako. Young might feel disappointed with himself that he couldn't stop it. He appeared a little bit unsighted, really. Didn't get across in time. But Osako found the sweet spot. That's a better ball. Here's Wakazaka in first time, gathered up by Maikawa. Well read by the goalkeeper. That's close enough to him for him to intervene pretty comfortably. Had a bit of space though. Had Wakazaka in the build-up. Search for a route back into the game. Could this be Vissel Kobe's year? Certainly not likely to be Toru Aniki's. Already 12 points off the top with 12 games to go. Susi deciding he couldn't take any chances there. It's been a super season so far for Vissel Kobe. Moving on from the big-name Spanish signings, Andres Iniesta and Sergei Samper both departing earlier than initially anticipated this summer. Collectively, they look so strong, don't they? Only a second corner for Kawasaki Frontale here. Wakazaka is going to take it. It's into a really threatening area. Nobody could quite profit from. Again. Interesting to note just this week, actually, Iniesta has taken the next step in his career. He's found a new club as his old one venture forward with real attacking intent. Muto had played the pass, he continued his run, he wanted the ball back, didn't get it, but will get the corner kick. Again, so swiftly turning defence into attack here. Once more, Zako's presence was important in that. Muto took over. Just edged ahead again in the corner kick count as a result of this being their third of the game. Late in this first half, and a second goal for them at this stage would make such a huge difference. Sako always an obvious target. Looks like Yamamura has been assigned to try and deal with his threat. Suse waiting to take it. So much movement in the middle as it comes in. It's a good header away. But Yamaguchi will reach it first. As this time was by Yamada, back in his own box. The centre forward clearing away. They're telling something of the story right now. Frontale could probably do with half-time to reorganise. Not there yet, though. 5 minutes added on at the end of the first 45. This is Osako. It's not just his goals this season that he brings to this team, but he always offers them an out ball. Always so difficult for the opposition to knock off the ball. Physical presence important in the way that they play. Muto. Numbered about 3-1. He does take some stopping, Yoshinori Muto. Another like Osako, he's had such a fine season so far. As strong as they've been defensively, the threat that those two have provided at the other end equally important in mounting this title challenge, and it is shaping up to be such a fascinating conclusion to the season. Level on points, remember, with F. Marinos coming into tonight. Goya Grampus only a couple of points further back in third. Champions, the Urawa Reds, Kashima Antlers and Sarazawa Zaka are all in front of Frontale in the table as well, going into Matchweek 23. Saito spreading the play. Muto played the pass, and Sakai forward from full-back had continued his run, almost got on the end of it. And Osako did somehow get on the end of that as well. Jump to the rescue for Frontale. He had surrendered possession here in a really dangerous part of the pitch, unnecessarily so. Jones stretching, made himself big and shut the door in time on Yuya Osako. He won't thank those in front of him for the lack of protection that he was afforded. Hatsusi again will take the corner kick. Vissel Kobe sensing their chance to end this first half strongly, potentially double their lead. Takes that in-swinging corner kick, which was aimed in towards Matheus Tula. His goal the difference so far. Fine free kick separating the sides. Seko. Susi. Sasaki did well to keep it alive. And Susi. There's no Sasaki once more. They're very much on top now, Vissel Kobe. It could be a long second half for the 10 of Kawasaki Frontale, unless they find a way to adjust things during the interval. They want that whistle to afford them the chance to do so, really. Last minute of the 5 added on at the end of the half. Susi. Sakai. Ball aimed in towards Osako by Dayu Sasaki. Saito. Still trying to set the tempo really at the base of the midfield. Just over the head of Jean-Patrick. Almost out of time in terms of being able to extend their advantage before half-time of Vissel Kobe, which they have been threatening to do. Eventful first half certainly is brought to its conclusion, and it is Vissel Kobe who have an important advantage at the interval. Both teams continued really in the early stages to cancel each other out to an extent, but then came the major moment. Osako's free kick was sweetly struck, but it came only after a penalty decision had been overturned on review, and what had been a yellow card for Omanami became red. Frontale a player short and a goal behind at half-time at Todoroki. It's Kawasaki Frontale 0, Vissel Kobe 1.
途中から準備してくれよ、もう準備してくれよ。小山、入りだよ、入りだよ。変な感じ入ってくるんだよ。吉田さん、交代なしに質問って。
welcome back, almost set for the start of the second half at Todoroki. Vissel Kobe lead at Kawasaki Frontale by 1-0. Toru Aniki's had plenty of work to do in that dressing room at half-time. His team going down to 10 just before the break after the sending off on video review of Takuma Omanami. The free kick that followed, rather than the penalty that was initially awarded, scored by Yuya Osako. It's that strike that separates the sides as we get this second half underway. Yenica has to make his way out onto the field for Frontale. So a really big effort is going to be required by the home team to turn this around. Kawasaki Frontale players short and a goal down against Vissel Kobe. Big second half ahead here. Leaders on course to maintain their title pace as it stands. They did end that half very strongly. Could well have scored a second before the whistle went. Let's see what Aniki's been able to do at the interval to try and shore things up. Set out with some attacking intent, certainly. And that cross comfortably claimed by Maikawa in goal, delivered by Miki Yamane. Until the sending off, there was very little really between the teams. It's the frustration for Frontale. Omanami had initially been shown a yellow card and a penalty awarded, but because video review deemed the offence occurred initially outside the area, a free kick was given instead, but the yellow therefore upgraded to red. They scored anyway from the set piece with a super strike from Osako. Afforded Vissel Kobe a very promising position. If they can see this job through, it really would be a statement of intent in the title race. Sean Patrick getting back from Sasaki. He goes again, and he's able to find Osako with back to goal. Wonderful touch. Fine awareness, but the shot from Sasaki was pretty comfortably blocked. Yamada giving chase at the other end. Really been able to get into the game as an attacking force. The MVP at the intercollegiate finals on the first day of the year, Shin Yamada, before signing professionally with Kawasaki Frontale. Flashes of what he can be capable of, what he could become in this league during his first season in it. Just to remind you, without Leandro Damião, the experienced Brazilian centre-forward, who had returned to the starting lineup after injury last week, Yu Kobayashi is on the bench. And by the way, they have bolstered the attack with a new signing in the last few days. Timbi Gomes arriving on Monday. Free transfer from Galatasaray. The French international, now 38. He signed on the day of his birthday. CV back in Europe to his name already. He hasn't been considered tonight to debut. Comes too soon, but he has been added to the squad after 18 months playing for Galatasaray. Surely become another option up front for Frontale. The squad has been stretched at times this season. He will be required during the run-in. Turkish League title, actually, the Super League with Galatasaray last season. Did Gomes. It's the second spell at the club. Played in Saudi Arabia with Al Hilal in between. Swansea City in the Premier League in England. Familiar name added to the squad. Well, they they've worked this well. They've worked it really well up until that final ball from Wakazaka, which wasn't quite precise enough into the path of Yenaga. Beautiful in the build-up just prior to that, though. Lovely little flick that found Wakazaka in the first place. That pass had been played by Yamada. Enough to underline to Vissel Kobe that they still have plenty of work to do to see the job through today. Jean-Patrick takes the pass from Sasaki. Matsushi swings it in, it was a good one as well. Muto didn't quite get his angle right. Did get his head on the end of it, but not the contact he was intending here. Excellent cross that picked him out. And he was alert to the opportunity getting in front of the defender. Reached it ahead of Noborizato. Just couldn't quite control what followed. Further evidence of the service that Matsushi is capable of providing and has done pretty frequently tonight. Yamada overrunning it. Segawa. Support from Wakazaka, but it was overhead. They haven't found their fluency in the final third. To an extent, that has been the case on and off really throughout the season for Frontale. Certainly lack of consistency has cost them this year. They had been unbeaten in 8 at home before losing last week to Gamba Osaka. Didn't actually win a home game in J1 this season until they beat Sagan Tosu by a goal to nil here on the 7th of May. Having finally opened their account, they really had found their form in front of their own fans. Until conceding those 4 goals against Gamba last time out. Kobe hoping for a favour from Gamba Osaka today because they're currently in action against F. Marinos. Side level on points with Vissel at the top of the standings. The referee had a perfect view of that one. He's given the free kick. Sasaki just caught from behind. Tatsuki Seko. Useful angle here to get this into the penalty area. Often this season have we seen Osako get his head on these as well. Matsushi's going to take it as he has the majority of them. Vissel Kobe tonight. Goes again towards Osako, always likely to be his target. He's out as far as Yamaguchi. Might now have to hurry back. Here comes the counter. Led by Seko. He's trying to keep his feet, I think, as the challenge in from behind. A ride from Muto, and that's cost him the caution. Be Frontale's most productive policy. They're there to get something from the game tonight. Sitting deep with the 10 players behind the ball and then looking to catch Kobe on the counter. Muto has gone into the book as a result of that. First name taken from his team tonight. To follow for Frontale, which is floated in a little too close really to the goalkeeper, although it was awkward for him. It was rescued to an extent by the referee's whistle. Traffic that he had to try and come through to claim it. Maikawa. Encountered that traffic provided by his own team, in fairness. Stayed down at the end of it. Collision, I think, with Yuki Honda, who's also struggling. Experienced centre-back, making a fourth straight start in the league. One of the new signings for this season from Kyoto Sanga, where he spent the last 7 years. And look again at the major moment so far. The challenge from Omanami that brought about the red card, and the free kick wonderfully converted by Yuya Osaka. 17 goals and counting in the J1 season for Osaka. Still separates the sides. Sakai and Muto in conversation as they look to get the game back underway again. Osaka again is the target, and he was able to hang in the air to reach it well. Find Sakai. And he will rather fortuitously maybe come clear with this. Futuko Sakai didn't catch it cleanly though when the shot came in. Does have a couple of goals from full-back this season. Both of them actually came in the 4-0 home win against Gamba Osaka at the start of March. He had started 6 league games in a row before missing last week at Yokohama, straight back in the side today. The 42 times capped Japanese international. Plenty of time on the ball in this part of the picture, those in white, in the circumstances. The most confident of touches from Maikawa. Honda still feeling the effects of that injury. He was then caught out of position a little, had to commit to the challenge. Caught Yamada with it, concedes the free kick. Combination of catching Yamada with the challenge and hauling into the floor at the same time, really. Further action taken against Yuki Honda. But Frontale will try and exact her own punishment here. Set pieces may well be a big part of their plan in this second half. Takai up from the back. He's the one that came off the bench after the red card. He's an obvious target here, aimed in towards him. Cleared initially. Seko has it. Yamamura had gone to retrieve it. They may well be able to come again. Frontale. Tatsuki Seko. Dynamic enough in possession, and that could now cost them at the other end as Muto moves swiftly through the gears. Found himself outnumbered in the end, Yoshinori Muto. He's frustrated at the concession of the free kick at the end of that. Wakazaka. Seko. Back to Tatsuki Seko. Lining with Wakazaka in midfield. Yamada takes over. Morizato. Vastly experienced left-back joining in with the attack as well. The equally experienced Yenaga delivers into the middle. They need to see a bit more from Akihiro Yenaga. He has the quality to create something. Provides the experience in attack for them. Hope though for Frontale over the last few minutes, even with the numerical disadvantage, they may still be able to salvage something from the game. Kawasaki to take. Pretty much everybody back in white defending that. Seko will return it. Comfortably gathered up by Maikawa. It's the first corner of the second half for Frontale. Third of the game. As yet they've not been able to make the most of those set pieces that I was talking about. Only failed to score in 3 home games all season. Only 16 matches that they've played here in all competitions this year. Certainly not giving this one up despite the odds being against them right now. It's a good ball by Seko, the goalkeeper a long way off his line. I'll claim he's just about vindicated by the decision to come for this. He got there first, but actually cleared it against Yamada, which would have left his heart in his mouth for just a moment, maybe. Sakai. 8 years he spent in Germany, brought back in 2019 from Hamburg. He's been a key part of this Vissel Kobe side since. Yamada able to turn, and able to dance his way through as well to the byline. Not quite able then to find a teammate in the middle. But he's growing in influence, this Shin Yamada, in attack. Seko, who's down, this will be a concern for Vissel Kobe. Pretty innocuous. An impact on landing there, wasn't there? Just jarred the ankle, and then was clutching the thigh. Was it that one where he was hurt? Just have overstretched himself a little bit. Much has been made, and we've seen the evidence underlined already tonight of the importance of keeping Yuya Osako fit if they are to maintain their title challenge. He scored the only goal of this game so far, but he's not going to be able to play any further part in it. Vissel Kobe fans will hope this decision is taken only as a precaution. We won't know that just yet. Koya Yuruki, regular starter this season, is summoned instead from the bench to maintain his ever-present record in J1 this year. He has started actually 20 of the 22 games before tonight. Just the 3 goals, though. He's not been in the same sort of form as Osako. Now he has to deputise for him in attack. Division's top scorer off injured just beyond the hour. Another little twist in the tail. This one, here's the Borizzato. And behind, just overran it, one touch too many maybe. He's taken over the captain's armband, the Borizzato, after the substitution of Teji Banada. And again, encouraging for Frontale that they're getting him as far forward as they managed on that occasion. Simply got more to grips with the game in the second half, playing with that one short after the sending off of Omanami, because at times they were getting overrun before that half-time whistle went. Sakai prodded forward more threateningly by Yamaguchi. She's found it a little bit too congested in the middle, though. Another player down, actually, which I think now is why they will put the ball out of play. Further concern for Vissel Kobe. That's Muto, isn't it? Well, could you imagine if he had to go off as well? The two players really that have been carrying their title challenge all season. League goals between them. Sako's already gone off. Muto, thankfully for Vissel Kobe, is back on his feet. Want to keep an eye on, though. Concern certainly for Yoshida in the dugout. Job that he's done since his return to the club, Takayuki Yoshida. His third spell in charge, fourth manager of last year. Miguel Angel Lotina leaving at the end of June. They'd got through 3 of those by the mid part of the season, really. First took over in August of 2017, did Yoshida, for just over a year. Brief spell back in the summer of 2019, back in charge as well, which lasted only 10 games and 1 win. Much more positive impact on the team this time around. Change of direction, really, as mentioned, with the departure of Iniesta. The European signing Stefan Mugosha didn't really work out. The Montenegrin has since returned to his former club, Incheon United in South Korea. Barely made an impression in the first half of the season. Now they go in search of a second goal today. Muto able to bring it down, but couldn't get his shot away. It's well defended by Takai. He looks a real prospect at centre-back. He covered good ground in bringing that clear as well, before ultimately being dispossessed. Just a couple in white to try and pick out in the penalty area that time. One of whom, though, is Muto, who's on the end of it so sharply. Can't find the finish, though. Did score off the bench at Vamphore Kofu in the Emperor's Cup at the start of the month. Back to the end of June, though, for his last goals in J1. 2 of them in the 3-0 victory at Avispa Fukuoka. Only ever scored once in the Premier League for Newcastle. It was a famous one at Manchester United, October of 2018. And now that Osako has gone off, he really is leading the attack for Yoshida's side. Midway through the second half now. Another drinks break. And it remains finely balanced. Vissel Kobe haven't been able to pull clear as they might have hoped. Certainly given how dominant they were at the end of the first half following the red card. Not much in it at all, really, in the last 15 minutes. And Frontale will take encouragement from that. They will take heart from that, given how they've steadied the ship since half-time. But still, they search for the equalising goal that would earn them some tangible reward from their increasing efforts, really. Playing with 10 in these temperatures, in this humidity. Likely to catch up with them. Has dipped just below, only just below 30 degrees as the game has gone on, but 75% humidity is maybe even more of a factor right now. Will be in the closing quarter of the contest. Force their way back into it. Without changes at this stage. Need to get Yenager more involved, maybe, on the ball. For Vissel Kobe, they have to cope without Osako. He's still cast currently in the role of match winner after that fine free kick at the end of the first half, but a worrying sight for the leaders to see him withdrawn from the action on the hour. may well have gone some of their attacking threat as well. Is this slender lead going to be enough tonight for Vissel Kobe? Pretty stifling the conditions tonight. There's very little wind around. Temperatures haven't dropped too much since kick-off, only by a couple of degrees or so. Played over, or will have played over half the game with 10. Frontale. A really big effort required in these last 20 minutes or so. Here's Sakai. Yamaguchi. A vastly experienced Japanese international in their midfield, 48 caps for his country. Since a debut a decade ago for Japan. Twice named in the J1 Best 11. Might not have been down this path before in terms of winning the title, but they do have plenty of proven match winners and plenty of experience in their squad. We are going to see the Frontale change that I was speculating about. Henniger is not going to continue. Dayatono will be his replacement for the closing stages. It's the 5th straight game that he's come off the bench. Henniger has operated really on the fringes of the contest today, so not a huge surprise that he's withdrawn at this stage. Ever-present starter. By Tono. It's his 3rd season at the club. He has been used more frequently off the bench than he has started games. 12th time that we've seen him as a sub. We'll have some fresh legs for Frontale for the conclusion. Forward by Mateus Tula, straight out of play actually from the former Flamengo player. He was on loan last season, now a permanent member of the Vissel Kobe squad, the Brazilian. Under-20 international. He missed the first 5 games of the season, but he's been a regular since then. Space here for Segawa. Wakazaka. Borizato seems to be staying further forward now. Touch with the poor one from Yamamura, got away with it though. Undid the damage really, and Wakazaka comes clear. Nothing ahead of Seko. It does appear as if Vissel Kobe are prepared to try and hold what they have. Back to cost them that particular policy, though. They're certainly under pressure here. Across the face of goal it goes. Segawa was the closest to being able to reach it. Not quite, but they are getting closer. They are growing in attacking ambition as well the longer the game goes on. Sensing their chance maybe to salvage something yet. That really awkward area, wasn't it? But nobody quite gambled enough to profit from it. We have to go back to September of 2019 for the last time that Vissel Kobe beat Kawasaki Frontale. They did so here by 2-1. Goal scoring that day opened by a certain David Villa. Reminder, of course, of the ambition that Vissel Kobe have showed over recent years to try and become the biggest club in Asia. That was the stated aim when Iniesta first signed for them. They've made real progress since then. Maybe haven't quite hit the heights they were hoping for. It's a slightly different approach these days that currently looks more likely to yield a reward in terms of a title. First ever trophy on on the first day of 2020 in the Emperor's Cup final against Kashima Antlers. Never higher than third, though, in J1. Don't improve on that this year, it could go down as a big disappointment, given where they currently find themselves. It was as recently as 2021 that they finished in the top three. It was and such a disappointment. What followed last season ended up 13th in the table, only 4 points clear of the bottom three. This year, much more what they had in mind, and they're trying to pick the pocket here. Go in pursuit of the security if a second, that at this stage of the game, against the 10 might just settle it, were they to score it. Earlier, though, he signed a one-year deal with the Emirates club in the UAE, the Pro League, to extend his career. He's made it clear he wasn't retiring when he left Vissel Kobe. Wanted more game time. As Muto goes down, a little glance in the referee's direction. No more than that, no real protest from Muto. Now skipping into space. With options either side is Wakazaka. Here's Segawa. Quite deliver the ball that was required. Borizato. Good spell this for Frontale. Yamada. Took a little too long to get the shot away, but it fell invitingly for Tono. Didn't really catch it as intended. Borizato will try and return it on over the top. Big chance. And there haven't been many of those for Frontale today. Wakazaka couldn't take it, though. Was that their moment? Followed a little bit of pinball in the penalty area. No one quite had control of it. And look at the space that he had to set himself. Player who scored in each of their last 2 league games, who has 5 goals to his name over the course of the campaign. Really could have had another one. And Coach Oniki knows it, as does Wakazaka, furious with himself. Well, it's the best opening that they've created at any stage of the game. The other end from Sasaki for Vissel Kobe, who know that they need that second, I think, now. Sean Patrick does reach it. Keeper comes forward and at the second attempt is able to make it his. Hasn't been as busy, though, Jung Sung Ryong in this second half that he might have been expecting to be. Away from Segawa, but it will break instead for Yamada. Shin Yamada trying to force away all the way through, and it wasn't quite on for him. But Vissel Kobe are looking edgy now. Their lead really has never looked less secure than it does at this stage of the game. Zaka with a wonderful slaloming run just prior to that. Trying to make up maybe for the chance that he put over the top. Still hope for Kawasaki Frontale. They've scored some dramatic late goals already this season. Notably that Kuramaya winner at F. Marinos in the 4th minute of added time, just a month ago. Leo Osaki waiting to come on for Vissel Kobe. He's going to take the place of Muto. Well, that tells you much. Centre back on for the forward. I don't think this is injury related. He did take that knock that was causing a bit of concern, Yoshinori Muto. I think Vissel Kobe here are just reacting to the changing circumstances of the game, and very much now trying to hold on to what they have by bringing on Kawasaki to shore things up at the back. He was suspended last week against Yokohama, returning as far as the bench tonight, and he's on for the conclusion. Muto's part is played. At the end of these substitutions, though, Sasaki is going to come on, and so is Taisei Miyashiro. So is Marcinho, by the looks of things. All change for Frontale. He's on for Segoa. The comeback trail after that hamstring injury is the Brazilian Marcinho. Yamada will make way for Miyashiro in attack. Started all but 3 games this season. And Sasaki is on for Seko. So he's made his move. 10 of the 90 to play is Toru Aniki. Sasaki off the bench for the 4th straight game in J1. Regular starter in the cup competitions this season. Neither Frontale nor Vissel Kobe made it out of the group stage of the MEIJI Leagues Cup this year. Both, as mentioned, have quarter-finals to come in the Emperor's Cup at the end of this month. It's a title challenge that Vissel Kobe are determined to sustain in J1. Close to a very notable result, but it's very much in the balance right now. Miyashiro straight into the action. Score of 6 goals this season. Been a breakthrough season for them, really, after returning to the club from a loan spell last year with Sagan Tosu. Never previously really nailed down a regular role. Certainly with the addition of Bafétimi Gomis, there's going to be very good competition for those starting spots in attack, particularly with others coming back from injury. Well defended up against Sean Patrick. Sasaki making himself available, getting the ball back. Second season out of university. Once Borizato, and now Marcinho, top scorer last season. Looking to link here with Tono, just found himself crowded out of it. So the substitutes attempted to combine. Keeper needed to come for that. Having done so and reached it, Jones put it straight out of play. Well, that's a big boost at this stage of the season for Frontale to have Marcinho back again. He has still yet to score this year. Has spent a chunk of it on the sidelines with that aforementioned hamstring injury, but it was their 15-goal top scorer in all competitions last year. 12 of those came in J1. He is into double figures for league appearances now this year without getting a goal. Well, over 20,000 inside Todoroki tonight, and there won't be many leaving early. This one looks like it is going to the wire. Return by Marcinho. Then quickly closed down and dispossessed by Hatsushi. Sasaki. Borizato. 15 seasons as part of this first team squad for the one-club man. Tono shifting it infield to Sasaki. He's going to take the shot on. Deflection really could have taken it anywhere. Carried behind for another corner kick. Frontale are looking the more threatening at this stage of the game still. Zaka has had their best chance yet. Will take the corner again. Pushed everyone that they could forward for it, ultimately Academic, but may not remain the case for long as Naborisato tries to return it. Instead it will break here for Saito to Vissel Kobe. Quite the second half that they might have envisaged, the way that it's unfolded. But they're getting closer and closer to a valuable victory, Vissel. So named, by the way, as a combination of victory and vessel in recognition of their history as a famous port city. Never been able to do is take the J1 title yet. The Ushi getting closer to that as well this year. It was founded back in 1966, playing semi-professionally. Only moved to Kobe actually in 1995. Began playing in the Japan Football League. So the 10th successive season for them in J1, which they first contested back in 1997. Marcinho to give chase here, and the presence of Sakai was important in front of him. Marcinho has already made a little bit of a difference, hasn't he, since coming off the bench. Can keep him fit for the run-in. Frontale will fancy their chances of progressing further up the table, back towards where they expect to be, even if they're likely to fall short of their stated ambition for the season, which was to try and get their title back. Toru Aniki went on record at the start of the year saying it was essential that they regained the championship. That was their core target, he insisted this term. Never really got close though. This would be another damaging defeat if it stays this way. Mexico's goal there remains the difference. There's Tula. Cushioned header down neatly into the path of Jean-Patrick. Looking to settle it. Jung spilled it. Gets a little bit lucky there, given where the ball bounced. And he made the initial stop. We're certainly in the type of territory now where Frontale cannot afford to concede another one. That would be it. Cut out before it could reach Jean-Patrick, and then cannons away off Yamaguchi. Still scrapping for the ball. Run back well by the substitute Osaki. Wider is Sasaki. Now Osaki once more. Sasaki. Just that final ball that was lacking. Pizaka outnumbered, wins the free kick. It's been a good effort this from Frontale in the second half with 10. They're rapidly now running out of time. And it is not ultimately to be in vain in terms of points. But they are still finding some spaces here. Marcinho's in all sorts of space. Perhaps wasn't played his way. Instead, Tono's held on to it. Still done at Tono. Marcinho beaten in the air. Away by Osaki, but not convincingly at all. Wakazaka to pick up the pieces to keep the pressure on. The Borazato inside the last minute now of the 90. Wakazaka. Nobody would be more relieved than he were Frontale to go on and get their equaliser, given the chance that he missed earlier. Borazato. Sasaki joining in as well, but just running out of room, really. Find out very shortly how much time there's going to be added on at the end of the 90, how much time Frontale will have left to try and salvage it. Juggling from Jung at the other end. It was a nervous moment for them. Shot from Jean-Patrick was straight at the goalkeeper. We're going to 6 additional minutes. 6 more minutes from here. Kawasaki Frontale are to try and rescue something after a spirited second half showing. Vissel Kobe closing in and maintaining top spot. And it will be over to F. Marinos for the conclusion of their game against Gamba Osaka, which is ongoing. A single shot on target in this second half so far. Vissel Kobe haven't really looked too likely to extend their advantage. They might not necessarily need to. Marcinho brings it down beautifully. Frontale don't have time to waste, which is why they played on despite having a defender down. Giving them another option, certainly Marcinho, since he came on. Sasaki. Yamamura. Marcinho then brings it under control beautifully. It's just behind Miyashiro. Is he going to be able to keep this one in play? He is, and Jean-Patrick again had the glory in his sights, the chance to settle it. Having been found by Saito, he couldn't get the better of Jung. A couple of big openings for the Brazilian late on to try and wrap it up. Saito did well to find him. Credit to Jung as well, who was off his line quickly. Did all he could with this. He looked a second favourite when that fell at the feet of Jean-Patrick. Saved by the outstretched right boot of the South Korean goalkeeper. Still that second won't go in. So still they sweat on the touchline. Nervous finish to the game. And a Vissel Kobe change here. Haruyura Ida is going to come on in place of Saito. An impressive contribution a moment ago. It's actually going to be his last of the match. Makes way for the last few minutes. One of the new signings for this season, Ida was brought in from Tokyo Verdy. Comes into midfield. Just to try and help his team over the line. Halfway through the 6 minutes added on. By the Borazato. Marinos currently in front against Gamba Osaka by 2-1, so it would be as you were at the top if the scores stay as they are. Half an hour longer to go in the other game. 11 matches each to play after this. Kashiwa Reysol at home next up. Week today for Vissel Kobe, but then still not over the line yet today. Marcinho must have thought that that was about to open up for him, to have the dramatic final say deep into stoppage time and to rescue something for his side. He checked onto the right foot here. He's claiming the corner. They will get it. They'll get the chance to keep the pressure on. Wakazaka will take it, everybody forward for it. That's a couple of minutes of time added on here. In by Wakazaka! And only a fraction wide when the header came flashing across goal from Takai, who rose well to meet it. Always awkward from that sort of angle, though. It was a little wider maybe than it initially looked, but this was certainly close from Marcinho. They've given it a real go, Aniki's team. The 10 have refused to accept defeat in this second half. A spirited showing, but only seconds away from ultimately defeat. They've had their what-if moments to reflect on. It's safe to say that. Will there be one last chance for them? Seki scrapping for it. Well, with a ball bounce, it does so invitingly for Wakazaka, appealing for a handball. Referee has waved it away, indicating that he saw exactly what happened there. Wakazaka again, this time he was caught. Yellow card. Saki's challenge, and one last chance maybe from the free kick that will follow. Would have to be spectacular from this sort of range. Challenge that Osaki will feel he had to make, had to take on for the team really, in bringing down Wakazaka, who otherwise was away. Play on now only at the referee's discretion. Effectively really now or never for Frontale, and they will summon Jung Seung-ryong forward. Even the goalkeeper is up for this. Suggests that they won't go directly for goal. Lost their belief at any stage really of this second half. Wakazaka, who won it, will take it. There's a collision involving Jung and Jean-Patrick on the edge of the penalty area. Still hasn't yet been dealt with though. In towards Marcinho, got his head to it, but no more than that. And that may well be that. What has been an absorbing contest at Todoroki. Back-to-back home defeats for Toru Aniki and Kawasaki Frontale. Just moments away now from being confirmed. Doesn't necessarily tell the whole story tonight. That is what the record books will show, and it will be another setback in a season in which they've struggled for consistency. A season, though, in which Vissel Kobe are dreaming of a first ever league title. They remain top of the table. Another one ticked off. A vital victory here. A hard-earned win it was as well at Todoroki. By a 1-0 they win it. Osako's free kick late in the first half after the sending off of Omanami proved to be the match's defining moment. Despite the fact that Frontale with 10 gave it a real go in a spirited second half showing. They had their chances to rescue something after all. Osako, the match winner, went off injured, of real concern for those from Kobe. But they hung on for the 3 points without him, and they maintained their spot at the summit of the standings in J1. Full time at Kawasaki Todoroki Stadium. Kawasaki Frontale 0, Vissel Kobe 1. Had a little bit of everything the game, didn't it? Just the one goal, a wonderful goal it was as well from Osako. Scored direct from the free kick, awarded only after an initial penalty decision had been overturned by video review. But the yellow card that had been shown to Omanami at the time was upgraded to red as a result of that review. And Frontale were left up against it at that stage once Osako had stepped up to score stylishly from the free kick. But despite the numerical disadvantage, the home team were Kobe's equals throughout the second half, and indeed had the better chances to score the game's second goal. Kobe with isolated opportunities at the other end to settle it, particularly late on, as you might expect when it was getting stretched, that they couldn't take either. but ultimately weren't required to. One was enough on the night to return them to winning ways. Let's get some reaction for you.
勝利おめでとうございます。まず振り返っていただきたいのは直接フリーキックのゴールシーン、見事なシュートでしたね。
はい、練習いっぱいしたので本当に入ってよかったです。
決まった瞬間大きなガッツポーズでした。狙い通りに蹴れた、そんな印象ですか？
本当1本が今日の試合の勝ち負けを分けたと思いますし、本当集中して蹴れたと思います。
あのシーンなんですが、最初は PK の判定があって VAR の結果フリーキックという形になりました。大迫選手の頭の中、最初 PK のことを考えていらっしゃったのかなとも思うんですが、そのあたりの難しさというのはいかがだったんでしょうか？